who's next? Yeah, who's next? Welcome to the C.L.I.M.B. This is a show dedicated to helping singers, songwriters, and indie artists like you create leverage in the music business. And if you haven't been listening, the C.L.I.M.B is an acronym. C.L.I.M.B, you see, stands for Creating Leverage in the Music Business. With that, let me introduce you to my co-host, Brent Baxter. Brent is an award-winning hit songwriter with cuts by Alan Jackson, Randy Travis, Lady Antebellum, Joe Nichols, and more. And what I love the most, he helps songwriters like you turn pro by teaching the art, the craft, and the business of songwriting. And you can find Brent at songwritingpro.com. Once again, that's songwritingpro.com.
Hey, and I'd like to introduce you to my co-host, Johnny Dwinell. Johnny owns Daredevil Production. It's an innovative artist development company. They help you find your sound, and they help you find your audience. Not only do they develop and improve your artistry, they also grow and monetize your fan base, creating cash flow.
Yeah.
Daredevil has worked with multi-platinum artists like Colin Ray, Tracy Lawrence, Ty Herndon, and Andy Griggs, just to name a few. You can find Johnny at daredevilproduction.com. That's production, singular, no S. Why? Because, ladies and gentlemen, there is only one Johnny Dwinell.
Some people got to have it. Money, 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 money. Some people really need it. What's up, brother?
Hey, man. Happy Thanksgiving week to you.
Happy Thanksgiving week to you, too.
I'm getting ready. I'm looking forward to the leftovers already. I'm heading to Missouri because Missouri loves company. That's my in-laws. And,
Missouri loves company.
Yep. I'm trying to talk my mother-in-law into cooking the turkey a day early, so by the time I get there, it's all leftovers because I think that's the best part. So.
Man, I think the same thing. Like I'm going up to Indiana to my cousins, my sisters and all my nephews and nieces are going to be there, and so that's going to be fun. We're going to hang out, and you know, my favorite part of Thanksgiving is the turkey sandwiches that my mom makes. Like white bread, you got to do it on white bread. Hellman's mayonnaise, okay, the turkey, the stuffing, like the bread stuffing, the cranberry sauce, a little salt and pepper. Forget about it. Like,
oh yeah, we do that, but we do like we'll have some rolls. Oh yeah, you know, some Thanksgiving rolls. Put them on there, almost little sliders.
Yeah. Oh, perfect.
Little turkey sliders. Yeah.
Perfect. So perfect.
It's going to be very caloric.
Right on. This is we've got people coming in to take the garbage out here. We're working late tonight, so sorry about the interruption there. That guy scared the crap out of me. You never know what's going to happen on this show, people.
That's right. I decided to open up behind you, so that's something else to be thankful for. That's first world problems. Oh, I'm sorry to interrupt my podcast because somebody's here to take the trash out of my office. First world problems, my friend.
Yeah, that's right.
Good, Rich.
Well, anyway, so let's. We got a cool show today, man. Now, this is actually your idea, and I love it. I'm so wrong with this. Like, tell me what your ideas are, because we got a lot to cover here.
All right. Well, you know, this is Thanksgiving week, right? Yep. So it's next week by the time we're right now we're recording it. But I was thinking, like, well, it's going to drop on Tuesday, right before Thanksgiving. I love some themes. So let's talk about what we're thankful for. I think, you know, there's a lot of negativity in the music world right now. There's, you know, the Department of Justice is trying to do injustice to songwriters. There's, you know, Spotify that's not paying worth diddly. And there's, you know, all this stuff. And, you know, there's a lot of negativity and a lot of people feeling kind of woe is me about the music business. You know, record
sales are down.
Sales are down, all that stuff. But you know what? I think it's a great time to be a songwriter. I think there are a lot of reasons to be thankful if you are a songwriter. And I know, Johnny, you want to talk about a lot of reasons to be thankful if you're like an indie artist coming up. And so I thought, you know what a great week to talk about that stuff. Let's give people a boost of some stuff to be thankful for. Why not?
Love it.
We can all use a boost, right?
Yeah. Well, you know what? Let me tell you something. It's hard to be pissed off if you're being thankful.
That's right.
You know, and that's just a fact. I mean, you know, it's hard to really get into that headspace when you do it. And, you know, I mean, it's what was that movie? I can't remember. It was the famous this Italian director that blew up and got an Oscar, and it was all about his life.
Life is Beautiful?
Life is Beautiful, yeah. And that when he was in the concentration camp.
I never saw it.
And I just
remember him jumping across the aisles at the Oscars.
Yeah, that's him. And he was a Italian Jew, I believe, in concentration camps in World War II Germany. And his mother just pretended it was all a game. Like she just taught him to be thankful and have fun. So he never really knew what the hell was going on. Like, you know, and I think they got saved and rescued before he was old enough to figure it out. But it was a game, and he would like make fun of the guards and the German guards and stuff. And, I mean, it was insanity, and it was the saddest thing and the most beautiful thing at the same time. But life is beautiful. Like in the worst case, concentration camp, Nazi Germany, you're a Jew. You're set to be exterminated, okay? And they found something to be thankful for. We're songwriters. We're artists. We got a lot to be thankful for.
It's funny. We were just for Ozzy. He watched a cartoon, about missionaries and stuff, and he was watching something on Corrie ten Boom, who also, was a Danish Christian who was put in a concentration camp as well. And there's a scene in there where she and her sister are in this concentration camp, and it's all packed full, and there's no place to lay down except for the hay, and there's fleas in it. And they're like, the whole thing is sister going, thank God for the fleas. She's like, I can't. Like, okay, God, thank you even for these fleas. I don't know why. And later it, this is based on the book The Hiding Place by Corrie ten Boom. And later, there's a part where the guards are going through from place to place, bunkhouse to bunkhouse or whatever. They don't go in there because they know it's infested with fleas. But that's why they left them alone enough for them to read Bibles and stuff like that, and they could have some time without the guards coming in and harassing them, because the guards are like, I'm not going there. It's infested with fleas.
Yeah.
Thank God for the fleas.
Thank God for the fleas.
Anyway.
There you go.
Didn't think we'd talk about that, but there we go.
Here we go. We never know where this is going to go.
No. This week on The Climb, Thanksgiving and concentration camps. That would make a very bizarre blurb when we share this on social. Okay. Overheard this week. Anyway, so we should probably go ahead and dive on in. So we're just going to kind of go back and forth on this one a little bit. Normally we have a Brent episode and we have a Johnny episode. So this one is togetherness in the spirit of Thanksgiving. So I'm going to go ahead and kick this off. First reason I think you have to be thankful as a songwriter, if you're listening to this podcast, that means you have like a laptop or some sort of computer, or you have a smartphone where you have iTunes or Stitcher. So you probably have freedom, and I'm thankful that I live in a country, and you probably do too, where the government's not going to tell me I can't chase this crazy dream. I have freedom to go, you know what? Like for me, I had the freedom to quit my job, pack up my stuff, move from Arkansas to Nashville, rent a room, and get a job at Cracker Barrel, and start chasing the songwriting thing. And there was nobody but common sense to tell me no.
That's right.
There was I didn't have to check the papers as I crossed the state line into Tennessee. I wasn't handed, okay, welcome, comrade. This is your job. You work in this factory. I have the freedom to do crazy things, and you do too if you're listening to this. And thankfully, a lot of the world does, but not all of the world does. And so I think it's good. As frustrating as it is, just be thankful that you get to chase it. You're not guaranteed catching it, but at least you have the freedom to pursue. And I think that's really cool.
Yeah,
because
man.
Most of history, this is such first world problems. Yeah. I'm trying to connect with the publisher. I'm trying to get a hit.
Yeah. I don't have time to do this in the day because I'm so busy.
Yeah, I know, with a job, and most history, man, people did not have the luxury of even thinking about self-fulfillment and art. They didn't, it was like, I got to go dig up some potatoes or I'm going to starve.
Yeah. Or get shot
because I live in a war zone. So, for not enough of the world, but if you're listening to this, hopefully you're in a part of the world and living in a time where you have this kind of freedom and prosperity to be able to do this. And that's really something to be thankful for.
Yeah, so that's true. That's true for artists too. I mean, you know what? Like in the same vein of freedom, you're free to make your art, and you're free to actually get your art out there to the world right now. You don't need permission like you did 20 years ago to number one, do a really good job at making your art. And because it was cost prohibitive. I mean, unless you had a couple $100,000 sitting around, you weren't just going to waltz right into a studio and, you know, hire Michael Wagner to produce your record and get away with it. You know, I mean, you just couldn't do it. You know, and then number two, get it on the only way you could get it out there would be the radio. That was the only sort of, you know, there's other mechanisms, but they certainly weren't as effective and didn't have the reach that radio did. So in today's market, we don't need permission to do that. I mean, we can just make our art and put it out there. Now that, you know, the reciprocal of that is everybody who got a record button to press presses it.
Right. Yeah.
But I mean, you know what? The cream always separates from, you know, always rises to the top. You know.
Right. Yeah. And you can put out your art and have people find it without a record label having to give you the go-ahead first.
That's right.
And put you in line. And I was listening to a podcast, actually, Entree Leadership, the Dave Ramsey podcast, and they were interviewing John Rich from Big and Rich and Lone Star. And he and Kenny, you know, they just started writing some songs, recording some stuff. And all of a sudden, they kind of figured out, I think we got an album here. Well, let's go over to Warner Brothers. They'll be thrilled. Like, they weren't expecting a record, and boom, we're going to deliver an album to them. We love this stuff. And they're like, man, that's great. This stuff's awesome. But, you know, we got to set this thing up. We got our pipeline. We got our artists. We got our schedule. So it'd be like a year before we can put it out. He's like, I thought you just said it was great. They're like, yeah, but we got other artists, and they end up getting out of the label, buying the record and putting it out themselves. They didn't want to wait a year.
Yeah.
And so, you know, and if you're in the position where you're not on a label, you don't have to worry about waiting in line.
Yeah. That's right.
You know, for a year or 2 years. I have friends that have been on labels for a while, and they've not gotten a big push yet.
Yep.
And, you know, again, rich people problems, right? Or first world problems. But yeah, you don't have to wait for permission to somebody say, well, yeah, another year we'll put your single out. You can do it now.
You can get it out as fast as you want to, or as slow as you want to. I mean, I just had a couple emails from some people the other day. They're like, well, how do I, you know, I want my music to get out in there to the market, but I've got $0 and I don't have any time. And I'm like, well, you have a hobby then. That was my email. I mean, I was like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, you know, I really want to change the world with mathematics, but I'm not spending any time learning it. So what can we do?
Yeah, lots of time and space. But we do have that freedom, which I think is awesome. So I'll move on to the next thing I think songwriters have to be thankful for, and that's the ability to co-write remotely. You know, like, I grew up in Batesville, Arkansas, and so my available co-writers, you know, because this is pre-internet, you know, were people I knew at church, friends at school, you know, in college, a very small number of people to draw from. And I was very blessed to have, you know, Tim Meitzen, who was into songwriting. We hit it off. We wrote a ton of songs together and really helped each other grow. Some people living out in Montana or wherever, you know, they don't have somebody there that gets them and they can write with. But these days, man, you can hop on Skype or Google Hangouts and write with people on other continents. You know, you don't have to just rely on, I got to move to New York, LA, or Nashville before I can find a co-writer. Or I'm stuck with, you know, the lady that plays piano at my church. You know, that's the only person in this town I can write songs with, and everything comes out sounding like How Great Thou Art. Yeah. And I'm trying to rock and roll. You know, your options are much bigger than they were just 10 years ago. Yeah, you know? I mean, like right now, you and I we're not in the same room. We're recording a podcast, but I'm looking at you.
Yep.
Yeah. Handsome.
I'm looking at you and your big burly Movember beard.
Yeah, I'm awful shaggy right now. So, you know, I think that's something really to be thankful for. Yeah, just the ability to.
I mean, you know what? I think a couple of the cuts on the Bailey James record were written via Skype, not for nothing.
There you go. Yeah, I've done a little bit of co-writing, you know, from Nashville to, you know, a buddy of mine that was an independent artist in Canada, and we wrote a couple times over Skype. You know, and just it's great for having that opportunity. It's a lot cheaper than airline ticket.
Yeah, man.
And you don't have to wear pants.
Are you not wearing pants right now?
You never know. You'll never know.
You got like a burly man plaid shirt on. It's like your country ball cap with his big old burly beard, and he's probably wearing Speedos underneath, or maybe nothing. I don't know.
You're going European, and this is something to not be thankful for, that image in your head. So, but you had something kind of along the lines of being able to connect.
Well, you know what? Yeah, I mean, listen, because you have the reach of social media, you have the reach of YouTube, which potentially is 1 billion people. Because of that, it's easier now for an artist to connect. Like you were talking about connecting with a writer on Skype. Well, you can connect with your fans, and there are handfuls of artists who have figured out how to connect, like not just knock down their door, but actually meet somebody and influence them enough to buy their record and become profitable. Maybe they're not going to be Taylor Swift profitable, but I think most artists would probably be pretty damn happy if they could figure out just how to make a living. A decent
right.
living. And right now, I think a lot of artists are out there just doing the waiter thing or the bartending thing. And if they could replace that money with making music, that would be a step in the right direction. And so it's easier now than it ever was before. And the only thing is, you got to do it yourself.
You got to do it. But yeah, like used to be, you'd have to go on tour.
Yeah.
And you still need to do that. I mean, you still need to get out and play.
Yep.
But, there are so many other avenues as well. I mean, that would be the only way people would discover you. Would be you'd have to go play some club and they'd have to walk in, or their buddy would go, hey, you got to hear this, tape or whatever that they'd have to hear about word of mouth or whatever. And now the word of mouth is just on steroids through social media. So that's definitely something to be thankful for.
Yeah. And you can make it from your bedroom. I mean, Carmen got she's got a ton of videos, don't get me wrong, that her and her husband made from their house, from their living room, okay? But the biggie was, I think 105 million views it has on it. She got a record deal from that. Noah Guthrie, smaller version of that, 77 videos from his bedroom when he was 17 years old. And his biggie, 24 million views after a year and a half of consistent posting. But 24 million views, and somewhere between 4 million and 14 million, he got a $100,000 record budget with an Indiegogo campaign that he annotated on the video while it continued to explode. And there it is. Now he's playing every weekend. Is he doing arenas? No, but he's doing 600 to 800 seaters, what we call hard ticket sales in the industry. They're not going there for a festival or to get funnel cakes. Or
they're going there to see Noah Guthrie.
Yeah, that's right. And so he did it from his bedroom, man.
That's awesome.
He figured it out. You can too.
I know, and this wasn't an option not too long ago. So
grateful for that.
Amen. Number 3, how are you going to find like these co-writers to write with remotely? Well, these days, online communities that didn't exist very long ago. So you have, Facebook groups. We haven't really talked about it on the podcast before, but I recently started a private Facebook group for Songwriting Pro. So you can go to Facebook, look for Songwriting Group, Songwriting Pro, and you can join that. And we also have one for the C.L.I.M.B. So you can go and find the C.L.I.M.B, group and join that. And there are like-minded people that, I have people on my Songwriting Pro community that are talking about, hey, anyone interested in co-writing? And people are hooking up and trying co-writing and answering questions for each other.
Are we getting a percentage on that, Brent? Are we getting a percentage?
Man, percentage of love, man. Love. Good karma.
I love that. That's right.
Yeah, exactly. My people are happy. And it's great. People are interacting with each other, and it's your like-minded people. You can you answer questions, commiserate, celebrate with each other. And again, like if you're that lone cowboy out in Montana that didn't have anybody else for miles around that loves songwriting,
come on in.
Yeah, get online and
get yourself some Wi-Fi. And come
exactly. Exactly.
I'm thankful for that.
Wi-Fi ranch. But yeah, so that's something to be thankful for. Is just that you can connect with people that get you. Your tribe.
Yeah, and you know what? On that note, I want to say this: I'm thankful for the tribe of the climb, for the climbers. You know,
Amen.
I'm thankful for the people that listen to this podcast. I'm thankful for the people that share this podcast, that get value out of it, that tell us that they get value out of it, because then we know we're doing something.
Love getting those emails.
Thankful for the Daredevil community. I'm thankful for the Songwriting Pro community. And
Me too.
And by the way, not for nothing, but a shout out to the C.L.I.M.B community in particular. The last episode that we did, I think I predicted we were like over 15,000 downloads, but we're over 17,000 now.
Yeah, which is awesome.
This is our third record month in a row. Like, it's starting to like really grow now. Like, people are really starting to figure it out, and that's I'm thankful for that.
Yeah, I'm thankful for you guys listening, and because I only have one iTunes account, so I'm only one of those downloads. So I know it's a lot more people listening than just me, and that's awesome. And yeah, the people that the reviews people have left, y'all have left, have been so nice, and some of the emails we get, it's just really encouraging. So yeah, that's something I'm very thankful for too. So you guys rock.
Did you read that one I sent you today, by the way?
I did. That was awesome. Great? Somebody taking notes.
Yeah, it was killer.
Yeah, like that's right. Somebody, we got the message in the C.L.I.M.B community, I think, about the lady that homeschools her artist daughter, and is like, that's part of her homework, is listening to the C.L.I.M.B when we're in the car. That's right. So that's right. We're curriculum, baby. We've made it. We're curriculum.
That's right.
I'm thankful for that. All right, enough about us. So number 4 on my list is, it is a great time to learn the craft and the business of songwriting. So, we're talking about the C.L.I.M.B podcast. You have podcasts about songwriting. You have YouTube videos where, I've been sharing one recently, Craig Wiseman talking about, the process, and it's inspiring and it's educational. You're just trying to pick up little breadcrumbs for your journey. There are blogs, by real pros that kind of know what they're talking about, people that have done it. And man, I mean, before I moved to Nashville, I moved here in 2002. So early days, kind of internet, there's some stuff, but it was mainly, you hoped you live in a town that had an NSAI chapter, or you'd find a Jason Bloom book or a Pat Pattison book. That's about all I had, to learn the craft, other than just doing it, making my own mistakes, listening to the radio and trying to figure out what they're doing. That was about it. And now you have all these other resources for learning how to write great songs. And so your learning curve can be that much faster, and you can get that much better. And it's awesome. It's a good time.
I tell, I've worked with a handful of artists who are, that were inherently sort of self-contained songwriters. And inevitably they're usually better on the vocal side of things. And so, their melodies are off the charts, spectacular. But because they were 3 years old and they could sing like crazy, they just, everybody was bowing down at their feet for their singing. Yeah. So naturally, this is like a pragmatic thing. Like, it's very rare that you find somebody that really writes good lyrics there, because they never had to do that to impress anybody. You know what I mean? It all
sounded good.
It all just sounded good, no matter what the hell they sang. Su, baby. Oh, that sounds wonderful. And so, and so, now, I mean, I would put them with like a pro songwriter and encourage them, sort of sell them on, you should try a co-write once and just try to get those lyrics as cool as your melodies, Right. And I just, the way I would sell them is I would say, can you imagine what it would be like to write a song with somebody who does it like every day for a living? Like, what would you learn? As smart as you are, what would you learn in one session? And they're like, oh yeah. And here you are saying, you can do it.
You can do it. Yeah. And it is a great time to connect with pros. Not just to learn remotely from podcasts and YouTube and blogs and stuff, but also to get with a coach, a pro, from anywhere in the world. Yeah. I mean, I do some coaching, I know you do as well. And I'll hop on, Fuse or Skype or something with people in Australia and Utah and New York, all over the place, Canada. It doesn't matter.
I've had people on one phone call that were from New York and from England. I've coaching calls,
Yeah, I've done small group, video conferencing. I mean, our last Play for Publisher event, we had a guy from, I think, up around Toronto or somewhere. We had somebody from Canada. We had somebody from Australia there. Some of us in the U.S. Somebody that was probably only a couple miles away from me. And it just what a great opportunity to connect. And we talked about this in other podcasts before, but to have some of the access to professionals, to be able to meet with a publisher like we did at our last Play for a Publisher event, with Chris Oglesby, to have a chance to get face to face.
Yeah.
And you're in Australia, or how easy is that to make happen? It's not. And it's more possible now than ever. And also to get with coaches, pro songwriters that do coaching and that sort of thing is really something to be thankful for as a writer.
Yeah. Thankful for that, man. Thankful for that.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. Another thing I'm thankful for, just as a fan of music, because that's why I write, is because I love music, is that as much as you can hate Spotify and for not paying diddly, or YouTube for not paying much and all that stuff, and there are issues that need to be addressed, but as a fan, I love that I can find stuff that I love and wouldn't have discovered otherwise.
And just like that.
Yeah. If you like, other readers or other listeners listen to this or bought this off iTunes, and so there are those things that are those recommendation engines that help you find stuff that, in the days of all I know about is what my buddy is listening to in his car, but really most of what he knows is either he got from his older brother or was the same 10 songs on the radio.
Yeah, well, that's where his older brother got it from. It was the radio.
It's radio. I know. And so it's, and so we're not contained by, how many people out there right now are crazy about what's on the radio from whatever genre you listen to. Well, yeah, I'm sorry, but there's so many other options available. Now you can go and check out and find people that you will love that you would not have heard about otherwise.
That's right. That's right. And because of that, what I'm thankful for is the art is getting better. Mm-hmm. It's going back. We're coming back full circle around to the way it used to be, like in the 40s and the 50s and the 60s, when they did whatever the hell they wanted to do. And for them, it's like the way it is for us now. Like they could get it out there, right? Because in the 60s, you could write a song and the next week they'd record it and 2 days later be on the radio. And then a month later it was a hit, and so it was that fast. But it can happen this quickly. I mean, look at how quickly a Taylor Swift song goes to 600 million views on YouTube. So the art is getting better because you don't have to write by committee. You can put it out yourself. And for the people who are serious about the craft, for the people who put the time and the effort into it, they don't need to go by way of a publicly traded record label to get the approval to make the art. And then the record label, of course, is not going to give any approval before they get the nod from the publicly traded radio station saying, yeah, we'll put that on there. Otherwise, don't spend the money or you're screwed,
Right.
So you can just do it. How thankful. I mean, geez.
And it even doesn't have to be stuff that's like big, massive hit kind of stuff. It can be stuff that it's just, I really love polka songs about cowboys. Yeah. And doggone it, I can probably find that.
Yes, you can.
And I couldn't have before because...
I'm from Wisconsin, and I can tell you where to find it.
I was thinking of, what was that, Home Alone, where she's in the back of the van trying to get home to Kevin, and she's with the John Candy's polka band? Yeah. I think they were from Wisconsin.
He was
anyway.
From Wisconsin.
Kevin! Holidays. But yeah, you can find that stuff that's really just niching down that you wouldn't have had a chance to get before. And that, or I'm digging through the aisles of the record store, hoping to, like, that music looks good.
Yep. Yep.
I'll buy it and see if I like it. It's a lot easier these days. So that is definitely something, just as a fan and someone that loves music, I can find stuff I dig.
That's right. That's right.
Go out on it, drag it home.
Well, that is some great stuff to be thankful for, brother. Some great stuff to be thankful for. So we want to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving. Whether it's really, really, really awesome when you get with your family, or if it's just complete torture and you get loaded. Enjoy the
fan.
And just think about what you can be thankful for in your artist career, right?
Exactly. I'm feeling very hopeful. I'm gonna have to go write a song after this.
There you go. And what are we gonna do for our giveaway today? I mean, we're just gonna give away community, right?
I think so. I think what we talked about under the community is our Facebook groups. Another way to kind of connect with us and with other like-minded people. Let your vibe attract your tribe. So on Facebook, I have the Songwriting Pro group, and we also have the C.L.I.M.B. group.
The C.L.I.M.B. group.
You'll look them up under groups. You'll find us. You can jump right in and join the party. And, it's growing. They're growing. People are interacting. It's great. There are a lot of Facebook groups that are just awful, where it's a lot of people, shouting into corners. It's tumbleweeds. No one's doing anything but posting and going, help me out. Vote for me. Listen to my song. That's right. But, I've been really encouraged that the Songwriting Pro community has been active, answering questions. People are connecting. People are talking. And it's not just all about, hey, here's my song. Listen to my song. Help me out. People are actually adding value, which sounds great because people are listening to what we're talking about. They're adding value.
That's right. I love that. I love it. I love it. I love it. So, So listen, guys, have a happy and safe Thanksgiving. Be careful Wednesday night, third largest liquor night of the country, because everybody goes out and gets loaded because all they got to do is wake up and eat turkey and watch football. And so just be safe. We want you to win. That's why we do this podcast. We're thankful for you, and keep on climbing.
We'll see you at the top.